All right, y'all. What's good? It's your boy Square the Bear, and we're back with another episode of the Square the Bear podcast. Today we got a special guest, John Buttner, a professional MMA fighter. He's going to be fighting May 1st on the A1 promotion. That's what it's called, right? I believe.
Yeah, A1 Combat.
A1.
It's Uriah Faber's promotion.
Yeah, A1 Combat. That's Uriah Faber's promotion, and he trains out of Alpha Male, originally from Team Alpha Male in Sacramento, originally from Las Vegas, and now residing in Sacramento. I hope I got all that right.
It's correct.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, dude. Honestly, man, I know you've been busy. I don't know. I know you've been busy, man, and I appreciate you making time. Like, it's rough.
Yeah.
I gotta say, dude, your schedule is probably pretty hectic because, like, even like I don't like. I'm just curious to know your process, dude. Like, what you know. I know you're professional, so what's your training look like? Like all day? Do you train like all day, or do you work and train?
Yeah, so I train year round, full-time fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have a fight lined up, usually 8 to 12 weeks out, that's when the training really ramps up. And then you start to peak your body for the given fight date. So usually my training consists of about 2 to 3 times per day.
Shit.
Starts early in the morning and get a couple hours in, then 2 to 3, and then give your body like a little rest, after that, and then you just hit it again, maybe for a second one, third one, and just kind of keep the ball rolling for the first 5 days of the week, and then sixth day, usually I'll just do one session, and then I make sure I have one rest day each week. So
Damn. And that's today, right?
that's today.
Thanks,
Yeah,
dude, for being here on your rest day. So, like,
you
two,
bet.
three times a day. So, is that like, does it get broken down into like cardio? Like, how does that look like?
So for me personally, I like to
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of my skill work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing the strength training and conditioning and such in the morning because if I do that, then I don't give like my best sharp like version of myself,
Yeah.
for the martial arts, which is the meat and potatoes, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. So yes, I'll usually get all of the drilling and the sparring, what have you, in the morning, and then later in the day, that's when I'll do the strength training and the conditioning, or maybe just slow down some practices, some sessions, and get more like skill work that's slower pace if you're learning something or adding to your game, experimentation, things like that. So
Okay.
that's kind of how I like to roll with it.
Yeah. That's interesting. You mentioned like with the strength and conditioning stuff. Like, what does that usually look like? I know some people be doing like CrossFit. Some people be doing like certain other things. Like, I don't know. What's your? Or actually, let me ask you. Like, what's your favorite thing to train? Like.
My favorite ways to just absolutely gas myself is swim, and then I like using the Aerodyne personally. Um, that's mainly what I like.
Mm-hmm.
I swam a lot competitively as a kid growing up, and they for a while had a swim coach out here that was amazing. He actually trained a lot of guys that were aspiring Navy SEALs or going into special forces, and so there's a lot of underwater training and gassing you out, putting yourself in like high stress
Yeah.
situations. So that really helped out a lot. Teaches you how to control your breathing, and also you get that like that adrenaline dump from your body freaking out, not know if it's going to get air or anything. So it simulates the fight really well in my opinion. And then also the Airdyne, I don't think anything really can beat that as far as getting a good hard push. I mean, there's a saying in the wrestling community like never trust a wrestling room without an Airdyne in it. So
Yeah.
they swear by that thing, and I do as well.
Dude, so like I don't know, man. Like I've never done anything professional, like I boxed like amateur and shit, but bro, wrestling, that shit gets you tired, man. Like I don't like I forgot who it was. I think it was I would watch like Cain Velasquez and that fool would go like hella rounds, and I'd be like, what the fuck? How does this guy just go these rounds and he don't even look gassed? So I guess that has to do with like what you're talking about, that the kind of training and shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. And in like a pace like Velasquez, you don't just get that in one camp. Like that's
Yeah.
building up your body over years and years. for it to be able to adapt and train like that to even get to that level. And then you got to learn how to change the energy systems, going from the grappling to the striking back to the grappling.
Mm.
Like that in itself, sometimes we'll see really good grapplers come into the sport and they'll be killing it in the grappling, but then because they got to change energy systems between the striking and grappling, they gas super quick. And
Yeah.
then, they're lost on the feet. And, and vice versa. Strikers sometimes are so composed. You'll see world champion kickboxers come in and they'll look great and composed on the feet. Once they wrestle for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, they're getting tagged on the feet now. It looks a lot more even, So
Yeah.
you got to have it all.
That's crazy that you mentioned that, because I feel like, yeah, it's like um Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan until they get hit or some shit like that, and I'm a big Mike Tyson fan, I have like the Supreme shirt
Oh,
signed.
for sure.
But dude, like, I think that's it, like, people go in and they're like, fuck yeah, I'm confident and shit, but come fight night, it's probably way different, because, in your head you're like, oh, I'm gonna just use my wrestling, but it's like, nah, now I gotta have my ABC, you know what I mean? My different plans and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it just, like, it's not like what they thought,
Exactly.
because they're just like, they prepare themselves like for one thing, and then, yeah. um Dude, super interesting. So like I said, I've like done training and shit, like in boxing though, and I had this guy, Mike Basil, super fucking dope guy, come in. He got his started in MMA, and he just learned like on the go how to be a come in. We are talking about um how comparing like boxing and MMA. Because for me, dude, I don't know how you feel about it, but I hate when like both sports compare each other, because I'm like, bro, like, I got respect for both. Like, both of them are hella hard sports, and I think like what's different about MMA and boxing, it's like in boxing, they focus on like I don't know if you call it striking, or you call it like, I don't know what you would call it, but in MMA you have like all these different like disciplines, so it's like you have to choose. Like, it's crazy because it's like a video game, dude. When in video games, in certain ones, you have to choose like what's your skill set. Like
Right.
you have to choose like, oh, I'm a grappler and striker, or I'm a striker and this. So it's like, what do you like for you? Like, what do you think is? I don't know. That's like kind of like a loaded question, I guess. But yeah, dude. Like, I forgot what else. Oh yeah, MMA.
Well, just like, yeah, the comparison of the
Yeah.
two. The thing is, like, I respect the hell out of boxing and
Mm.
boxers in general. I think it's a beautiful sport. I love it. The thing is, though, is that, in a lot of ways, they're like a world of a difference, because there's things in boxing that you can do with those bigger gloves and
Yeah.
that you can't get away with in MMA. And there's things in MMA that you can't do in a boxing ring. So, I think they're both awesome in their own way. Uh, if I had another life, I'd be a boxer. If I had, another life, I'd be a wrestler. But I'm an MMA fighter. I only get one, so best
Yeah.
bang for your buck in that regard. But yeah, I understand the cross promotion with that, and why MMA fighters kind of, I mean, they're very competitive in nature, so they
Mhm.
like to try themselves in each discipline. Sometimes we'll see guys go and do a jits tournament or a boxing
Yeah.
match, adds a little flavor to their career. I get it. But yeah, man, that's a world of a difference. And I think I just saw last night that they're
Yeah.
trying to push for that Fury Ngannou matchup now, but with the 4-ounce gloves, right? So
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting. That's a new spin on it. It's not a lot of times you get a boxer that's willing to, cater to some MMA rules. Usually they're like, no,
Yeah.
it's straight boxing. And they never step into the cage. But Fury's like, hey, man, we'll do the little gloves too. So that's kind of interesting,
It
especially at
is,
those heavier weights, man, because, it
dude.
only takes one.
I think it's super
Oh,
interesting, and I was gonna bring that up too. I'm a big Fury fan, so I was watching that, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like, that's crazy," Like, that's like, because he announced he was retiring, and it could be like a thing where he's like thinking ahead, like, "Hey, I'm retiring, but like, I'm gonna do this exhibition, and then I'm gonna come back," type shit. But yeah, no, I think it's super. I'll just say, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy that they would fight. I think it'd be dope. For
for
me,
sure.
like, I'm a big boxing fan, but man, I'd love to see like some boxers go to MMA because like I feel like it's always MMA fighters coming to the boxing ring, but it's like, dude, I rarely see like MMA fighters in I mean boxers in MMA and stuff, but it's just like I feel that has to do with like financial shit. Like sometimes people are like, "Oh, I make more money like boxing and doing this." And it's just like
Right.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. But dude, you're gonna. I don't know about this question, but you might hate it. But what do you think about that guy? The influencer guy, Jake Paul. What do you think about him?
Jake Paul.
You're like,
Okay.
damn, you're smiling. All like,
I think he's like a marketing genius. I
dude.
mean, I mean, you got to be objective. I get why
Mm,
people hate him. I get he's,
yeah,
obnoxious. He's not everyone's cup of tea. Same here. I agree with that.
yeah,
But you have to respect him. That guy really knows how to build his own brand. And look at all the variety he has with like what he can do with his life. He
dude.
can just jump in and be like, I'm going to be a boxer now. And then look at the numbers he's pulling, the money he's pulling. He gets to do something he loves, according to him. And it's very interesting to see,
Yeah.
So, I mean, in regards to him being like a legitimate boxer, I think that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of training. It
Mm,
seems like he's doing the right things. And they're building him up. They're building him up well. They're giving
yeah.
him the right fights. You know, it, I also got to respect him just because he's shedding a lot of light on like the fighter pay in MMA, and it that's something that any MMA fighter, that's music to their ears.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to be getting paid more money, so I think that's kind of cool how he brings that into light, and I respect him. Uh, but he comes off a certain way, and I totally get why he catches a lot of heat.
Yeah. Nah,
Yeah,
100%, dude. I think you nailed it, dude. Like, he sounds like a dick, Like, he goes in, calls all these fools out, and then. But I feel like, now it's not just like calling people out. It's like he's also saying things like, yo, they should be getting more pay. In boxing, like, women aren't paid as much as men. And she's like, yo, let's give these fighters, like, more pay. So it's just he's ruffling a lot of feathers, like not just in general, but I think like from a management perspective, people are like, oh shit, like he put me in the hot seat. And like Dana White, like I think I like what I like about Dana White is that fool be talking shit back. I feel like other people don't be talking shit back. They're just like, nah, fuck this guy. But he's like, I got time today, and Dana White was like, yo, if you think you could do better, go ahead, bro. Like, but
yeah, literally.
yeah, dude, I agree. I think he's an interesting character, dude. And for me, dude, I really want to see him against like someone. But okay, so yesterday that guy Tommy Fury fought the one that
Right, right.
he was supposed to fight and he backed out.
Uh-huh.
And in my head, I was watching the fight and I was like, dude, honestly, I think that Jake Paul would beat him. Like, I was not impressed by him yesterday, dude. And the thing is, I've heard that like he struggles with like dedication and shit. So I'm just like, damn, I'd want to see that. I think it'd be freaking interesting because that's like a legit boxer. But anyway, yeah, I'm like, enough about Jake Paul. I'm like, I want
Yeah,
to know.
a lot of times, if you got like an older, more successful brother and uh, a sport, immediately people, they got all eyes on you, like, oh, is
Yeah,
he just as good, and this and that. Tommy Fury, it seems, I haven't watched much of him, but it does seem that he's still a little raw and newer to the game. I mean, in comparison to his brother, of course. Um, but yeah, if he's not dedicated, man, then I don't know. Because Jake Paul does seem to take it serious,
yeah,
regardless of the antics and everything like that. Like the guy seems like he really did fall in love with boxing.
yeah,
So, you can't overlook him. That's the thing. You can't just look at him like a YouTuber with a loud mouth.
yeah,
Because obviously the guy can crack. He's got some natural power. Maybe the skills aren't exactly refined yet, but anything can happen when you get into a fight. So
yeah. But yeah, enough about that shit, dude. More about you, man. Like how'd you get started with MMA? It's super interesting because for me, I see a bunch of different fighters, and I wonder like, how the hell did you get started? Like, what brought you into like a gym? What made you interested in this? You know, because it's like I don't know. It's definitely like a lifestyle change. You know, it's not just like oh I'm just gonna go in there and that's it. No, it's like dude. I'm a fucking hefty bro. I'm a big bitch, bro. So I'm a big dude. You know, I'm like I struggle with like food. I struggle with like the gym sometimes. It's like a whole ass lifestyle change. Like, but yeah. Anyway, how'd you end up? You know, getting your how'd you end up wanting to say like, yo, I'm a be an MMA fighter, dude. Fuck this shit. You know.
I think naturally, even as a kid, just gravitated towards it. Got into a lot of fights in school as a kid. I don't know. I like that one-on-one competition, and that'd be the first thing that I'd want to do with my dad when he get home from work. I'd be like, fight, 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 and we'd have to have our little, our little fight when he got home. That was
Yeah.
the daily routine. And then as I grew up, I mean, I just like most people, you see the cage fights on TV and you're like, whoa, what is this? And you get hooked. You're like, wait just a minute. And I think that growing up in Vegas too, um, there was a lot of buzz with MMA, because they're having all the big fights down in Vegas and the casinos, and so word gets around locally. And I think that the growing up in Vegas definitely helped kind of spark that in me, just talking about it with friends at school and such. And next thing you know, I was like, telling my parents, man, I want to get into this. I want to give this a go. And they were super hesitant at first
Yeah.
because I got in a lot of fights at school, and they're like, well, the last thing we want to do is teach you how to fight. You're fucking, you're crazy. So that took a little bit of convincing, but then once I got into it, I mean, I haven't been in trouble since. I started young when I was a kid. I think I was about 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
And I did a complete 180. It gave me the discipline I needed and really set me straight. I had a real hard-ass coach growing up. And so, he struck fear in you. You didn't want to get in trouble at school. I see what happened to the kids that would get in trouble at school, and their parents would come in and tell them. And yeah, I didn't want that to be me.
It probably
So
translate to like workouts on like, yo, you gotta do like fucking, I don't know, like this many exercises or some shit, huh?
meaner than that, he'd have you spar as pros, and the pros would come after you, and then kind of humble you. And
uh,
sometimes he would put on the gear himself.
damn.
So, and yeah, and it was a high level gym, so it wasn't exactly something that you wanted. That wasn't a situation you want yourself to find
Yeah.
yourself in. So, yeah, I learned from watching the other kids messing up in the gym, and I was like, okay, like, I don't need to be going on some ego trip at school, beating on someone that doesn't know what they're
Yeah.
doing. So I never really went looking for trouble, and that really helped me out, I think.
It's crazy. Like you see things way different. Like once you know how to fight, once you like you've been there. I feel like you see things and you're just like, damn, like that's crazy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like if you see people like throwing punches and shit, you're just like, damn, like they're not doing this, they're not doing that, and you're just like, it's just you see things way different. It's just like you're saying like you don't need to. I don't know, kind of flex on like people. Like you already know what you got, what you
No,
can
yeah,
do.
exactly, because you're just picking on them,
Yeah.
and I think it's like you gotta protect them from themselves. If they start getting mouthy or kind of in your face, it's kind of
Yeah.
what would happen. So you gotta kind of. I mean, I think it's natural that like every man kind of wants to feel like they're an alpha. And it's like I can fight, I can hold
Yeah.
my own. I think that's just ingrained in us. But there's a big difference between thinking you can fight and living in that fake world, and then actually knowing how and living that life.
Yeah.
So, um, but I never really after I learned how to fight. Um, I never had the desire to get in street fights or anything like that. You got to kind of, put it into perspective there.
Yeah, shit gets
So,
crazy too, dude. Like, I don't know. People don't really be fighting anymore. They'll say, all right, let's square up. And then you have a gun to your face or something. You're like, nah, bro, I'm
well, and
good.
that too, man, that's a crazy
Yeah.
world. If you embarrass them enough, next thing you know, they're pulling out a weapon, and then it's a
Yeah.
whole different ball game. You know what I mean? So, depending what situation you're in. That can go south quick,
Yeah.
you know.
So
So
yeah, I feel that. That's why like I'm like for me, I'm just like, bro, peace, dude. I'm just like, I use my mouth to get out of situations. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're the shit. All right, yeah, cool. All right, I'm just like, I tell them what they
yeah,
want to hear, and I'm like, I'm good, bro. I don't need to like, I don't know. Yeah, so that's cool, dude. I definitely, I feel what you're saying, but no, yeah, that's cool, dude. Like how you got started, and like I think having a support system is super important, dude, because I think that in your career, like a lot of people, I feel like it's very mental too. It's not just physical, it's not just training, it's like it's mental, dude. Because like it's a lot of wear and tear on your body, and sometimes like you're just like, fuck, like I'm tired now, I gotta keep on going and stuff. And then like I don't know if this is true or not, and bro, like you don't have to answer this, but man, in boxing, they say the whole sex thing, like, oh, you can't have sex before a fight. Like, is that true with MMA too? Like, or like not just in MMA, but like for yourself in general? Are you just like, nah, bro, like same thing, Because dude, honestly, bro, like, when I would be consistent, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or what. Maybe I was just out of shape, but dude, I would do it, and then I'd be like, fuck my fucking legs.
so I've definitely done a few camps where I abstained,
Yeah.
uh, and I think it does do something for you mentally.
Yeah.
I do. I don't think it's so much physical where it's like, oh, your legs are soft, you can't move in the fight or anything like that. But mentally, I think so. I think there's a shift. I think that when that is readily available to you, you get a little comfortable, because like as like a human, like there's like a hierarchy in your mind of what's most important, which would be like reproduction. That's definitely up there. That might be number one, and then
Yeah.
survival and things like that. So if you take that that can because you're content if you have that all the time in that regard to your life. So if you were to remove that from your life, then the hierarchy changes a little bit. You're not as comfortable. You put yourself in more of an uncomfortable mindset, I think. So I think it just
Yeah.
makes you maybe a little meaner, tougher. I think that's the what people are trying to get out of it.
Dude, it's so true. Like, dude, because I don't know, like not like TMI type shit, but yeah, bro. Like when I don't have that, and then I have that, I'm like, I feel like I don't know, like I'm seeing things with like clear eyes, But yeah,
For sure.
no, yeah, that's funny, dude. I had to ask that one because, dude, I feel like that's such a thing, but you don't hear about it as often. Like when I was like training to like be amateur and shit, I remember I told girls like, "Hey, dude, like, nah, bro." And they'd be like, "What the fuck? That's a thing or what?" And they would think like, "Oh, are you just not trying to do it?" I'm like, "No, like, look that shit up." And they'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But no,
It can definitely stir up problems in your relationship life. Speaking from experience, yeah, that can be it can be a tough conversation to
yeah.
have. Yeah.
You're like, what
So
the fuck kind of question? But nah, it's funny, dude. See, like, I don't know. Here, I just like, I'm very inquisitive. I just like, like I like thinking about different things and coming at things from different angles. I'm just like, yeah. But dude, in terms of your like fighting and shit, like, what's like one of the toughest things you've had to endure as a fighter? Like, you know,
injuries,
oh
setbacks.
man,
Yeah. Mentally that's tough, when you want to be in the gym and you want to be striving towards your goals and things, and then there's a roadblock. That's always tough mentally.
mm-hmm.
Because, especially at this level with how much training you have to get in and things like that, like you have to, well, not only do you have to rehabilitate that injury, but then it's like you have to build up your entire body to be able to handle that workload again.
Yeah,
And that takes time. That doesn't just happen overnight. And that was a pitfall that I would find myself in too sometimes, where I'd be coming off an injury and I'd be like, oh, I'm cleared. Let's go back to 2 a days every single day. And your body's not ready for that anymore. And so then you learn the hard way. Oh, and then your body breaks down and you have another setback. So
mm-hmm.
there's just as much as it is important to train really hard, I think it's just as important to recover and
Yeah.
also listen to your body and take care of your body. There's ways to mitigate, um, inflammation and to take care of yourself and prevent things like that from happening. So I think you have to take your recovery just as important as your training. So I
Yeah.
would say that's been the toughest thing I've learned in fighting. Because as a fighter, especially with, you got to put your ego aside sometimes and be like, okay, it's not just grind, 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 like, because that will add up. You are human and your body can only handle so much, especially if you're not taking care of it in the right ways outside of the training room.
Yeah, and it's hard too being a fighter, dude, because like you're being taught. You're like when you're a fighter, you're taught like, hey, nah, keep it going, keep it pushing. Like, hey, like don't stop. Like you gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep fighting. Sometimes I feel like you could be like, oh, nah, I'm a fighter. I'll fight through this injury. But it's like you're right. You gotta listen to your
Exactly.
body, dude, and be like, yo,
Yeah.
nah, bro, like you need to take a break.
Yeah, because you teach yourself as a fighter, it's like, when you feel like you're kind of taking it easy, or maybe you start feeling guilty. You're like, oh man, like I should be training right now. This doesn't feel right. When you're that deep into it, it's hard sometimes to pull the plug
Yeah.
on, the sessions for the day, or, uh, what have you. So it's, I use a Whoop band,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that really helps me out too, knowing how much strain I'm putting on my body each day, in my sessions, how many calories I'm burning, how my sleep was the night before, my recovery. It tracks like your resting heart rate, your heart rate, variance.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me out too. So then that way I can be honest with myself.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, am I being a baby today and I need to suck it up and, pick it up? Or, is this the way I'm feeling warranted? Am I pushing the
Mm-hmm.
envelope right now? So
What's a whoop band? Whoop band, is that like kind of like an Apple Watch type shit or?
it's similar. Yeah, it's a lot of athletes wear it during
Yeah.
their workouts because it shows your heart rate throughout the workout. So you can go back and see, okay, what like heart rate zones am I
Mm-hmm.
hitting? How many calories am I burning? Uh, how many calories you're just burning, like resting throughout the day. It tracks all the sleep cycles you have throughout the night. Lets you know your recovery, where you're at from like 1 to 100% recovery. So it can be super beneficial. And it
Yeah.
can also, and that way you can also see how to acclimate your body week to week. So you can take on a bigger workload each week
Yeah.
without, risking injury. And because like I said, it takes time. Like you can't just come off the couch and be like, okay, 2 times a day, every day, right back to the same workload that I was doing before. Because there is um, a period where you have to build up your body again.
Yeah.
So this kind of helps you keep in check with that as well.
That's that's interesting you bring that up, dude, because I feel like I don't hear that enough. I hear like usually like the eating or making the weight or all this, but yeah, the injuries. I feel like that's probably what
Yeah.
sets you back the most, dude. Because you're like if you get injured, you're out for like let's say it's like something mild. It could be like anywhere from like a week to like a month, and you're just like, damn, there goes like my
Well,
fight
yeah,
and shit.
exactly. And the way that it was actually, we were just talking about this in the gym the other day, but it's like if you were to go up a hill,
Mm-hmm.
with a big boulder, and you're rolling the boulder up the hill, you get halfway, and then you just let it go, and it rolls back down to the bottom of the mountain. Okay, now you got to start all over, and it's
Yeah.
mentally draining. Meanwhile, all the other people that you're training with, they did, they took care of themselves and the boulder, right? And they kept going up the mountain. So now instead of being here, you got to, you're back down here and now they're up here. And now you got to play catch up. But
Mm-hmm.
then in your mind, it's like, oh, I got to play catch up. I got to play catch up. But then, and then your body breaks down. And then it's even a further gap that you have to, uh,
Yeah.
you know, to fill. So I think consistency is keen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in order to do that, man, you got to take care of your body. It's a tough, tough sport.
Yeah, and
So
for those of you in the chat, I feel like everyone can relate to this. It's not just like, John, that's a fighter, like all you guys, because you definitely got to take care of your body. You guys got to stretch and shit, and even with eating, dude, just in general, I don't be I be eating like shit. I ain't even gonna lie, bro, but at least I'm honest, But
Yeah, I with the eating, like dieting, I mean, I think it's hard in the
mhm,
beginning, but then once it becomes lifestyle, it's just ingrained in you and you
yeah,
enjoy it. I think once you start feeling the benefits of it and what it does to you, like physically, mentally, you get addicted to that, like that way of life. So the eating's never really been too hard for me. I'm disciplined with my diet year round. Um, the I mainly, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love my, pizza and wings and
yeah,
everything like that. But I just try to tell myself, man, that food is not going anywhere. That
mhm,
food's going to be there in 10 years.
yeah.
It's not going anywhere. It will be there. So, just show a little discipline now, and then later in life, I can grub and get nice and big.
What's like, dude? After fights, I seen like, I totally forgot his name. The Black Beast. He's always like, "Yo, give me some fucking Burger
Derek
King."
Lewis, yeah.
Like, yeah, Derek Lewis. Thank you, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
what's your go to like food afterwards? Like, do you have like, are you like, fuck? I'm gonna drink a beer. I'm gonna eat this meal. Like, do you have a meal that you're like, oh, I can't wait to have this afterwards or anything?
My go-to is the pizza usually. Yeah, I love the pizza. And then I gotta go with the boneless wings.
Yeah.
Um, and then, but the main thing, even, after I get that little fix, it used to be bad when I was younger. I'd
Mm,
eat everything under the sun. More like we're talking breakfast, lunch, dinner. It was like IHOP, Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, just
yeah.
ridiculous. Um, but after I get like my pizza and wings fix now, I try to mitigate the calorie damage with doing like all you can eat sushi. So at
Yeah.
least it's clean food. And that way I kind of feel better about it afterward.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. At least that's a fucking superpower right there, dude. The fact that you can even do that, like self control's a big thing, So the fact that you have it is dope. And Sid, by the way, shout out Sid, dude, for hooking this up. Like Sid connected us, so shout out to him. He said in the comments that you broke your elbow once and you became a fucking chick magnet everywhere you went. And then Marco's Pizza and B Dubs.
That's right, Marco's Pizza and the B-dubs. Yeah, it's funny. I snapped my elbow when I was younger. That's about
Yeah.
5, 6 years ago, I think. It's right after my 21st birthday. It
Yeah.
sucked.
Was it fight
And
related or like?
yeah, I was training. I
Okay.
was going with a heavyweight, and we got in like a super fast-paced scramble.
Yeah.
And like the technical wording for I was trying to hit a switch. He
Yeah.
tried to follow my back real hard. Knee slid through, and my arm got caught and just like fucking snapped like a toothpick.
Fuck.
So that was probably like my most painful injury, especially being that it didn't get set for 3 hours.
Mhm.
So it was not handled very well.
Oh shit.
But anyway, I had this like bionic brace like all the way up to like, my shoulder down to my wrist. And that was such a conversation starter. It was like, what happened? So yeah. If anyone, like now my friends, if any of them want to ever use that bionic brace, I got you.
I'm dead. Hey, that's real homie shit right there. Dude.
We going out for a night? Here's the bionic brace.
Nah, that's
Yep.
funny, dude. Because like, in terms of injuries, like you actually got it from a fight. You actually like broke it because of a fight. But I feel like, sometimes when I see my friends like with injuries, they're like, "Fuck, I got this in the stupidest way." Like I hit myself with a door or some shit, And I'm like, bro, just say you got on a fight. That sounds like way cooler.
Yeah, I mean, technically it was training. In
Yeah.
fact, I think all of my injuries have been training. It's never been in the fight, really. I mean, that just speaks to, how hard it is on your body,
Yeah.
man.
Because
So.
you just go hella hard during training, huh? Like that's what it
Well,
is.
and yeah, not only that, but picking the right partners. What am I
Yeah.
doing? I mean, at the time I'm a 45er and I was rolling with a heavyweight.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? Like, you got to be mindful of that as well. Set the ego aside sometimes and be like, look, man, like, you stick to your weight class.
but at
So,
least you have like I don't know. It's a lesson, you know. You learned a fucking valuable lesson. Like, hey, stay like to where I'm actually gonna get benefit, where I'm not gonna get hurt. So, you know, it's a good lesson to learn early on. You know what I mean? So I'm glad
Yeah,
you learned it. You know?
and luckily it didn't have any lasting effects. It's like it
Yeah.
never happened now, but I had to work really hard and double down on my physical therapy and things like that to make
Hmm.
sure that my arm was like, brand new.
Yeah.
So
Um. Damn, I was gonna ask you something, but I forgot. I feel like I'd be oh, okay, yeah, there we go. So you know, you used to live in Las Vegas. How'd you end up like in Sacramento? And I know Team Alpha Male has like a dope reputation. They're one of the best gyms, like from what I know. You know, Uriah Faber's a dope MMA fighter, and like you were training with Clay Guida. Bro, I grew up watching that guy, man. Fuck, he's like, I don't know, man. I love that dude. Like he's, I don't know, that shit's dope. Like, yeah, but anyway, uh like, how'd you end up like moving from Vegas to Sacramento, you know, and then joining Team Alpha Male? Like, how's that work, you know?
So basically, what happened was back at home, the team was falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
We had a small team of about 12 to 15 guys in a very high level room. We had
Mm-hmm.
great coaches back at home. It was a dream team, to be honest. But the issue was I didn't have any training partners,
Yeah.
and so I started shopping around for a high level gym. And knowing that I was primarily a striker and jiu-jitsu. I did wrestle in high school too, but I understood the importance of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to go take a look at the highest level gyms in the nation. And so I went and tried out Greg Jackson's gym down in Albuquerque. I stayed in the dorms for a few weeks, and then Alliance out in San Diego. And then lastly, I went to Team Alpha Male, and I really liked the room. There's so many bodies,
Yeah.
such high level guys, and they really uh, valued the wrestling. And that was kind of like, okay, I need to come here. I need
Mm-hmm.
to go into the belly of the beast. And so the original plan was to do half my camp back at home and then half my camp out at Alpha Male and just switch between the two. But essentially, I was given an ultimatum, had to pick one between the other. And so I had to do what was best for my career, moved
Yeah.
out here, Sacramento. And yeah, now it's been about 4 years, I think. And it's been absolutely amazing training. So many guys my size too to go with. The room is so high level.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you turn, you got world champion kickboxers, you got all American wrestlers.
Yeah.
Very high level jiu-jitsu. Everything you need also is under one roof. That's also a big help too. Like in Vegas, I had like three gyms that I was training at. I had to
Mm-hmm.
go drive here, drive there. With Uriah, he's done a great job of getting everything under one roof. It's like basically like a college. It's a university for MMA fighting.
Yeah.
So you can really schedule your day to fit your own needs, and there's enough coaches there also to help you refine certain aspects of your game. So
Yeah. That's cool, dude. And you know, props to you for like leaving home and shit, because I feel like that's hard. You know, you're just like, fuck, like, oh, am I gonna leave like what I know? But you know, it's like you say, you got one life and shit. You know, it's like you just
yeah,
gotta make
yeah,
sacrifices and shit, and it'll pay off in the long run. It's like what you were saying about like wings and shit and pizza. You know, later on down the line, your fam's gonna be there. They're gonna be at your fights, and Sac isn't that far from Vegas. You know, I'm sure. What is it, like 3-4 hour drive maybe
well,
from?
it's actually about 8.5 hour drive. Luckily,
Shit.
it's only like an hour 15 for the flight.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it was a tough transition. I mean, Vegas was all I knew. All my friends, family, everyone was out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know a soul in SAC. And, I had to leave my comfort zone in order to progress as a fighter. And I felt like this was the right place to do it at. And, so that it was a big lifestyle change. A lot of things I had to get used to. In Vegas, everything's so readily available. Everything's open 24/7. They do a great job with that,
Mm-hmm.
catering to, tourists. And so when I moved out here and everything was closing at like 7 p.m., 8 p.m., it blew my mind. That was the toughest transition. I was like, oh my, like, what do you mean? Like, I
Yeah.
go to places, they'd be closed, and it'd just be so frustrating. So they just operate a little different. I mean, I think when you grow up in Vegas, you get a little spoiled.
Yeah.
You don't realize what it's like in other places, with certain things. So that was tough, but definitely a lot less distractions out here. And there's one sole objective. So trade-offs to,
Yeah.
each place.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I feel like I'm also from California, but yeah, shit's crazy, dude. You go to other places and you're like, holy shit, they're open like 24 hours over here, and then
Yep.
in California, like shit closes like depending on the day, sometimes like 9 o'clock. I'll be like, what the fuck. But then like obviously like on the weekends till like 2. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like,
Yeah, it was just mind-boggling to me. And there's little things like, when I go out with my friends in Vegas, it's like when you're out, you can go out, walk around drinking on the sidewalk and
mm,
stuff. And then I remember I just naturally, when I'd go out with some friends out here, I'd do that as we're, going from place to place. And like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're gonna get arrested. I was like, what do you mean? They had to explain it to me. So, there's just little things like that. But uh, Sacramento's grown on me. They got
yeah.
such amazing nature spots out here. It's very centralized, a lot of surrounding areas you can go check out. So, you got Lake Tahoe one way, the bay the
Yeah.
other. So,
What do you like? So when you're not fighting, good question. I'm glad you brought that up. When you're not fighting, what do you like to do usually? Like what's your thing?
I never like to get too far from the gym.
Yeah.
I don't like to take uh, long time off, especially
Mm,
even after the fight. Usually I try to only take a week off and then get
yeah.
right back to it. But I really enjoy getting out in nature, getting away from the city. I kind of feel like it's like helps me with like that, that Zen state. Sometimes when you're in the gym all the time,
Mm,
grinding, 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 it's like you're getting a lot of that like that hard, but not a lot of soft. And it's just like, being able to in between fights just take everything and slow life down and uh, you know, just feel that other side of, other way of life.
yeah.
I think it helps out a lot, helps kind of balance you out. So that's what I like to do.
Nah, that's dope, dude. Cause yeah, I mean, feel like it's a good way to disconnect. You don't got service. You don't got service. You don't got social media. It's like cool, like good way to disconnect. I like hiking too.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome.
yeah, I tell like my family, I'm gonna go for a hike. I'm not gonna have service, so if I don't come back today, like send fucking the cavalry, because I'll probably like fail or something. No, yeah, just like I leave and then it's nice, dude. It's like nice to be in nature and so being like when I would be like in the Bay Area all the time it's just a bunch of tech, a bunch of traffic, all that shit. It's super nice to just park and just get in nature, like walk and freaking just I don't know. You just feel
For
refreshed when you
sure.
come back.
For sure. It just feels right.
Yeah,
It's like, I mean, we're meant to be out there in nature.
yeah,
So to just connect with the earth like that, um, there's something to be said for that. So,
and we were talking about this like right before we started, and also please let me know like when you're running when you wanna. I know you're gonna go to
we're good.
what, Six Flags, or where are you going again?
Going to Six
Six
Flags. Yep.
Flags. And real quick, so that's like you said that's your pre-fight ritual, right? Like you like to
Uh,
like scare yourself before, or what is it exactly?
yeah, usually like a week or two before the fight, I like to go on some crazy rides. My biggest fear is heights, so I like to kind of simulate the fight in that way, like getting the nerves,
Yeah.
doing something I really don't want to do. And so I'll go on these crazy rides to just get that rush, and also like that sense of accomplishment
Mm,
afterward. You know,
yeah.
you do tough things, and then when you finish them, there's a sense of pride, and it builds your confidence, your mental, everything. So I just think it's a good little way to get my mind right
Yeah.
before the fight, just prime myself.
Yeah, face your fears, dude. I
Yeah,
like it.
exactly.
And
I hate it. I hate it, but I do it.
um I know your princess in the chat is asking what hiking spots you recommend in Sacramento.
So if you were to go hiking, I like go up. There's a smaller city just outside of Sac called Auburn, and Auburn's got
Mm,
amazing, beautiful land, great spots. And then there's this. If you like the water, if you want to go up by like a river, Rucky Chuckies, you should look that one up.
Rocky
Super cool.
Chickies.
And they got yeah, and they got it where you can do. There's they got these little rafts, like group rafts that you can take down with like 10 to 20 people, and they got a instructor and stuff. It's so cool. I would recommend Auburn. I think Auburn's
Yeah,
probably the best place, and then Lake Tahoe is only like an hour, hour and a half away, I think.
Rocky Chickies.
And
That's a
there's
funny
this,
name.
yeah, Rucky Chucky's though. That's probably my favorite spot, and it's like 30 minutes out from Sac.
Yeah. Well, there you go, princess. Oh yeah. So before we started, we were talking about like marketing yourself. We're talking about you like hiking and getting out of nature, and we were saying like about disconnecting like through social media. So marketing yourself like as a fighter. How would you say like it's super important, right? Like, and we are talking about doing that. Like, what do you feel like you'd want to do in terms of, or how, like, any advice you have for like any fighters, like, you know what I mean?
My advice would be don't do what I've been doing, which is nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a very private person,
Mm,
so it doesn't really come to me naturally to, like pump my content out on my social media and things like
yeah.
that. But it's important, and I guess I'd say just like leading up to this fight, what I've learned is it's not as hard as it looks. If you're
Yeah.
consistent with the content, it kind of just grows naturally. So. And then also I just like recommend like not caring what people think,
Yeah. Exactly.
just being your authentic self. I think that goes a long way. Social media can be intimidating in ways because, there's uh, you know, everyone posts the best version of themselves and the best things they possibly can. So I guess it can be intimidating in that way. But yeah, man, just I think consistency with the content
Hmm.
and just being your authentic self would go a long way. And it's something that I really plan on working on this year too, getting a little taste of it this go around. And my plan is to stay active, get about 4 fights in this year. So be a lot more content coming your way.
Dude, that's like you literally hit it. Like I don't know, social media is a lie, bro. Like a lot of people will be posting like happy shit all the time, but they're down bad. Like dude. I don't post like, oh, I'm fucking going through it or anything. But yeah, I be going through it. But I'm just like, yo, I'm out on a trip. But like that trip, like there's a lot more to it than just that. It's like I worked my fucking ass off to go on that trip. But people are like, how are you always traveling? How are you always this? But I'm like, bro, I fucking work hard. So what you're saying, like, it's valid. People like on social media. I feel like you probably see people like eating out, eating all this shit, and you're like, fuck, I gotta train, I gotta do this. But it's like, for them, they're probably like, damn, like I want to
Well, and
be in
also
shape. Like you.
Well, and they're so good. You got to be mindful of what you're putting into your life every day.
Mm,
And if we're being honest, we probably scroll through social media feeds a lot more than we should.
yeah.
So, like me personally, I have a separate account where I just have a bunch of positive stuff. It's all like hardworking, discipline, philosophy, things like that. Just being mindful of what I'm putting into my everyday life and being on that helps, you know, kind of steer me away from all the stuff that people post as far as bad foods or like what would you would consider bad habits when you're a professional athlete. So that helps me. But yeah, man, social media is such a powerful tool, but it's such a detriment to I feel like real life interaction and
Yeah.
the human psyche. I don't think that like I don't think it's good for mental health,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. But I understand the importance of it as well.
That's
So
crazy, dude.
trade-offs.
John, you got the
Yeah.
finsta. You got the finsta for positive affirmation.
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, I got my burner account for all the good stuff, get my mind right. try and detoxify my feed and detox my feed. So
Dude,
yeah,
but I love that, man, because you usually hear like people like on my finsta who stalk people and all this shit and like post like fucking other types of pictures, but like you're over here like I want positive affirmation, like things like that's dope, bro. Honestly, I feel like
yeah,
more people should do that.
yeah, it's goal oriented,
Mm,
and it filters out like all the crap from, I mean, who cares what this person's eating for lunch at this time of the day? Like
yeah,
I've got a set amount of time in each day and I've got to make the most of it. So why am I going to just kind of sift through everyone's stuff
yeah,
like daily for hours and, eat up my day and then start, comparing and all that. Like it's a rabbit hole, man. I don't want to get caught up in that.
yeah. I feel that.
So.
And it makes sense, I feel like I understand why people don't market themselves as much because you don't want to spend as much time like on social media and stuff. For me, dude, I used to be so bad about social media. I'd be on there for hours, dude, just like scrolling through shit, and then I realized like, damn, bro, this shit ain't healthy. Like there's a lot of things that I be seeing that I'm just like, dude, like just because like my life ain't that way doesn't mean my life ain't good. And like then I kind of started realizing how social media really is. Like I remember I had a friend who would post like all this positive shit. They were like, honestly, bro, like time to come clean. Like I'm depressed as shit, and for me, like makes me happy trying to motivate other people and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I understand like why it's so hard for people to market themselves because social media is a tool, and but you also don't want to spend like too much time on it and stuff. And like me, I'm a content creator, so like for me, like I think lately social media has been fun because I post like for me, I would only play games on Twitch, right? And I had this podcast before this one, and then their workout started this one, but I think I enjoy having these meaningful conversations more than playing video games. Because I play games like Valorant and shit. Valorant, fucking the person I am when I play that shit. I'm like, man, I fucking hate that. But it's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it's cool to link up with the homies and stuff. And yeah, like you just like, oh, let's play. We'll work together, see whatever like what works for everyone, whatever. But yeah, dude, like prefer having these conversations. And for me, like I don't know if you've had a chance to like look through my socials, but every episode that I've had, I always try to get a clip of something meaningful during the conversation and put it out there. Like my friend Cam, he's in this band called These Streets. They're actually from they actually just played Sacramento like last week, but I don't know what kind of
Oh,
music you're
cool.
into, but they're dope. But you know, uh, I have my master's degree, right? And like for me, I feel like one thing that people don't be saying is that it depends on the person. For me, I like regret my experience. I think that was a waste of time and money. And he was talking about like how he has like he doesn't have his degree. He doesn't like he want to like he didn't go to college basically, but he still made something out of himself. And you don't really need college to you know be who you want to be. You know what I mean? You just need to have like motivation and have perseverance and stuff like that. So that's like that's the side of social media I'm trying to show. Like I'm trying to inspire people by showing that like for example, you're an MMA fighter, you're badass and shit, but you're also human, and you're just like one of us and stuff. You have struggles, and it just that's why like I love these conversations because you really do hear a lot of like things you don't see, things that you don't see through social media, like all these cool stories that you have, your pre-fight ritual where you try to scare yourself. That's dope. And then I think like the great like there's a lot of dope shit you've said today, but most definitely one of the like I think it just kind of blew my mind where you said he had another Instagram for positive shit. I'm like, damn, bro, like I don't even like that's such a dope idea, bro. I love that. But yeah, so
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I definitely enjoy like I've been enjoying conversations more than like the conversations don't feel as forced as they do for like when I play certain video games. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to play this shit. But yeah, so
No, for sure. It's important to get that connectivity. And
yeah,
that's the other thing too, is social media in ways creates a lot of barriers
mm,
socially.
yeah, it
You know,
does.
so it's double-edged sword, and you got to treat it as such. So
Dude, the weirdest thing that's happened to me is like, well, I it was with some random person. They were like, "Oh, what's up, Square the Bear?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" Like someone called me that in person. I was like, "Yo, I felt hella awkward." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I never met this person or whatever. And they were like, "Oh, you like I see your stream on Twitch," and I felt awkward. I was just like, "Damn, bro, that's hella interesting," But I think I felt awkward because like no, and like I haven't been addressed as like my name's Jose. People are like, "What's up, Jose? What's up, Square? What's up, Bear? Whatever." But like, "Oh, Square the Bear, what's up, dude? You're a big old Twitch streamer." I'm like, "What the fuck, bro?" It was just hella
Yeah,
awkward.
you keep doing what you're doing. It's gonna happen more and more. You'll get used to it pretty soon.
Same to you, bro. I'll be like, "Oh fuck, is that
Appreciate it.
John
Thank you.
Buttner? What the fuck?" Yeah, and actually, so I wanted to bring this up too. Sid told me like you play video games too. Like, what kind of games are you into? Are you a toxic S&D or what?
So I only like I don't video game much,
Yeah,
and I mainly use it to interact with my friends because fighting takes away from your
yeah.
social life quite a bit. But I the only game I play currently is Apex. I get
Apex.
down on Apex. I love that game.
Yeah.
It's the perfect mix for me where I love how there's strategy behind it and there's
Mm,
different like combos you can run with the different legends. So yeah, I really, really like Apex. I play ranked.
yeah.
I'm in my first season right now. Before the rank split, I got the plat 2. I was
Oh
all
shit.
proud of that. And now I'm trying to grind. I'm like, man, I got to touch diamond. I got to touch diamond before the season ends. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, man. Maybe if I get good enough, and with the content we were talking about, pumping out more content, maybe I'll Twitch or stream on Twitch someday. That might be a fun way to interact with people.
Dude, you
But I get
should.
really competitive though, so I gotta, watch my mouth when I get on those streams if I were to do them.
No, I feel it.
Usually, all my friends are cracking jokes and shit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, motherfucker, and
Yeah.
I'm just going off. So I gotta mind myself there. But that's my way to kind of disconnect at the end of the day after all the
Yeah.
training and stuff. You get all the hard work out of the way, and uh, it's supposed to be my way to decompress, but I think sometimes it's quite the opposite.
I
I
feel
get
that,
worked
dude.
up.
I feel
Yeah.
that same shit. Like the games I've been playing lately, I just beat Elden Ring. I'm a fucking Elden Lord, bitches. But and then I play this game called Valorant. I don't know if you heard of it, but fuck
I've
Valorant.
heard of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
that shit's fucking stressful as shit. But like, I think I like. So I used to play COD a lot more, but I like the strategic aspect of it. So I think that's kind of cool because it makes me think in different ways. It's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna go on fucking and just fuck around and say, oh no, I'm gonna think strategically because my rank. And
Right.
yeah, but I feel you about the whole streaming shit, because sometimes I be saying shit and I'm like, damn, is that too inappropriate or what, But for me, I don't know, like I feel like,
Well, see, and that's the other thing,
yeah,
dude. Like, if you air your stuff out to the world like that,
yeah,
you are under a microscope, and you're going to
dude,
get, ridiculed for any little thing you say, and it's a very, sensitive world we're living in. So it's like a lot of things you could say 10 years ago you can't say now. So it's like, even if you don't mean it in a certain way, people will take it as such, and it can be damning to your reputation. So
yeah,
it's tough, man. There's like, there's a fine line, and it's one that I want to make sure I have down,
mhm.
you know, uh, well before I start streaming. So
Dude, honestly, like you'll manage it, man. Like for me, I don't know. I be like, dude, on my channel, like, yeah, I'm wholesome and shit. Don't get me wrong, but I be talking about being horned and shit, and I'm like, are you guys fucking horned in the chat, But it's like on some wholesome shit. Like, it's fucking stupid, But we fuck around like, hey, like my friends hop on like Discord, and they're like, yo, you horned? Hell yeah, I'm horned. Let's get it, bro. It's fucking stupid. But no, my friend Annoyed Princess is asking, what do you main on Apex?
Oh man, okay. So if I'm playing arenas, I really like Lifeline.
Lifeline,
I'm
okay.
about I'm about that lifey life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you go against a good Lifeline, you can make the other team's life a living
Yeah.
hell. So I really like Lifeline, but when I play BR, Valk.
Valk.
I
Okay.
go Valk. Yeah. I go Valk. And then my favorite combo would probably be like Valk, Gibby, and Wraith. Because I've seen some sick stuff pulled off with those three.
Yeah.
That right there I think is perfect. I've seen one man where like the Gibby gets downed like super far away from the other two,
Mhm.
and then the Wraith portals over, drags him into the portal. Or maybe not the Gibby gets, let's say I get downed, right? And then the
Yeah.
Wraith brings me back, and then the Gibby bubbles me, and we're getting the res. I mean, you can do some nasty stuff with that. And then you got the alts with Valk, you know, to get out of there if need be. Wraith can hit the flanks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dirty mix. So that's, yeah, I'd say Valk is my main for BR and Lifeline for arenas.
Hey, there it
So,
is. What's
yeah.
your what rank are you again?
Right
There.
now, right now in BR, I think I'm plat 3. Trying to grind through that. What I found is plat 4, plat 3 is like the stickiest spot. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what separates like the great players from like the, you know, like good players. And so it's tough with that 36 uh, RP buy-in.
Yeah.
It's tough. But once I got the plat 2, I was grinding through that quick. I almost got the plat 1. I was like, oh, this is way easier. So I think that's the, you know, that's kind of what I'm finding. But yeah, plat 3 right now in BR, and then plat something in arenas.
Yeah. The
So
nation in the chat has asked, and they said that I need what did he say? I need some pre-mades. He's plat too, and he said that's true. He said that's true. That's my brother actually. Yeah, he's cracked that. Honestly, dude, it's kind of embarrassing. Like my brother, he's fucking good at games, and I'm ass. Like I think it's like my trademark, dude. Like it's very on brand for me to suck at games. You know, that's why when I do good on some on a game, everyone's like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Like turn them up, let's go." Because yeah, like for the most part, I'm ass, dude, and I don't know why. I think it's because I get lazy sometimes or I get bored. But yeah, my brother is like way fucking better at me than games. You know, like he tells me. I remember like last night he was talking about like, oh, let's play Apex, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm down. No, I said we're playing Fortnite or whatever. No builds on Fortnite, bro, has been fun, but yeah, I told him I was like, dude, fuck that. Last time we played Apex, you told me I suck and shit, and I need to get better on this shit. I was like, nah, bro. But
well,
no,
what I found with Apex is like, you know, because in COD you got the team deathmatch, you can get
yeah,
a lot of reps. You know, they don't have that with Apex. So what I did was just played a bunch of arenas to get a lot of reps with the gun battles,
yeah,
and I feel like that kind of helped me be able to hang with people that have been playing it for a while. But yeah, man, it's a sweaty game. It's
yeah,
a sweaty game. Sometimes I get on that thing and I'm like, is this my first day out here? It's crazy.
dude.
So
Yeah, nah, bro. You should start streaming, man. Like, look, bro. Okay, you know, there's like girls, right? E-girls, whatever. You could be like an e-guy, dude. Like, you're a good-looking dude. You know, you're a good-looking dude. You're a fighter, and then you're cracked that game. So, dude, those three right there, bro. You know, you should definitely be on Twitch, man, or whatever platform you choose. And
maybe I'll give it a go. It's the setup too, because I play off of a big like 55-inch TV
yeah,
screen. I got, you know, the cheap like old PS4.
yeah,
You know, and I see like the streamers, they've got a super sick setup. Like I'm jealous of it, man. You know, they got the
yeah.
PC monitor and then, you know, and then I'm thinking, oh man, if I were to stream, would I go PC? Would I, you know, go mouse and keyboard, or would I stay on controller? So it's definitely something that's been in the back of my mind a little bit, but maybe someday.
Yeah, no, dude. So I used to play off of a 65-inch TV, dude. But that was before I started streaming. I started streaming with a PC. Like I had a PC with a dual monitor right off the get because I'm like very like I don't know how to explain myself, but I'm like I don't like doing things half-assed. I'm like, nah, bro. If I'm gonna do this, like I want to have like a dope setup. I want to do
Right.
this, you know, and like yeah, I bought a PC right off the get, and it really did help out a lot. Cause like, okay, so right here, I have one monitor, and then right here I have like a vertical monitor where like I have you, and then that's where I'm projecting off the screen. You know, and that's where I have like Discord open.
Okay.
So yeah, it definitely makes things a lot easier, honestly. And Annoyed Princess says that she'd watch. There you go, one fan.
Awesome. I got my first subscriber.
Let's go. But yeah, dude, no, Twitch is dope, man. Honestly, I met like so many dope people through here. I met Cobra, Sid, Noi Princess. Like basically, like all right, you meet dope people. I'm sure there's other fighters on here too. And next week, so I'm going to New York, right? And me and my friend that I met through Twitch, we're gonna go to Atlantic City next week. So it's just crazy how you meet people like all random, and then you guys are like
Yeah,
bros,
that's
you know.
dope.
So
See, and that's one of the positives of social media, man. You can
yeah,
connect with people like that. That's really cool. But yeah, man, we'll see. Hopefully, we get something going on that. I think it'd be fun too to create a, because I got the clubs in Apex, maybe
yeah,
have like a team alpha male club because I play with a lot of teammates. So maybe kind of get that going, and then we could have like 3 fighters in it, during the stream and stuff. It could be a fun little thing. I don't know.
dude.
And it'd probably be good bonding for the team too,
Yeah,
you
like
know.
team building, you know.
Oh,
No rape
yeah,
that
team
each.
building. Yeah.
Nah,
So,
yeah, but honestly, you like, what's your time looking like? You almost gonna go or?
I got about. I can do another 10 minutes.
Okay,
I
cool.
got 10
Hell
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ah, you're enjoying it too. You're having fun. No, I'm just
that's
kidding.
good, man. It's good. Yeah,
Is this the first podcast you've ever done, or have you done other ones? Or
yeah. This is the first one. I don't. I've done sit down interviews a couple times, and
yeah,
then I did one like I think it was like a Zoom interview before my last fight. But this is the first time I really sat down and kind
yeah.
of I dived into some stuff. So it's a new feel for me. I'm learning a lot too. I think that's interesting how you're saying, like your setup, you got the different
Yeah,
monitors and stuff. Like it's a whole new world to me. So it's definitely something I want to kind of get to learn. And so I respect the hell out of it. I'm not very tech savvy.
yeah,
And so guys that are super, they know how to, get the right audio and the visuals and stuff. Like I think it's really cool.
dude. Like, don't get, like I know I have my monitors, all this shit, whatever. But bro, when I first learned, like, shout out to my roommate, shout out to my old roommates, dude. Fucking Adam and Peter. They actually taught me all about my setup, because I don't know shit about PCs. I don't know about monitors, nothing. So like, once I started streaming, I had like so many questions. I had made so many mistakes, and then now like I kind of passed on the knowledge to everyone else. So definitely, there's people to help. You got Sid, you got Cobra, me if you need
Yeah.
it. So
For sure,
definitely
yeah.
you're
You
not.
guys know you're the first people I'd
Yeah,
ask because you guys seem to have it all figured out. It's cool to see. I like to check in on the streams at times.
yeah,
Damn, man, like this is so sick. The setup, and then you got your little background. You
yeah,
like you're a sneakerhead. It looks like so that's
yeah,
dope. And then Vince, he's got this sick ass board that his dad made
yeah. I seen
in
that,
the background. Yeah, with the light coming through it. It's so cool. So yeah,
dude.
it gives me ideas.
And the backgrounds are cheap. This shelf right here, bro, dude. I got this shit at Target, bro, for $35. Yeah, I got
That's
this for
yeah. See
35 bucks.
that.
Look, it looks nice, dude. And like I don't know, the rest of the room is kind of questionable, but whatever. But yeah, dude, like IKEA, freaking Target, Amazon, they got everything you need. Like you don't gotta buy like all this fancy shit. You could like yeah, you don't gotta buy the fanciest shit to start off with, and it just becomes like it's not about like yeah, it is like for you personally how it looks, but eventually you're gonna be like, dude, fuck this shit. I don't care. Like as long as like I'm having fun, whatever. Because for me, I don't pay attention to like who's watching. I don't pay attention to like you know. Yeah, I guess that's it. Just who watching. I just like have fun, and I love connecting with people and just
Yeah,
bullshitting.
as much fun as it seems, I'm not gonna be naive to it. It does seem like it does take work to grow
Yeah,
I mean, it looks tough,
yeah,
So I respect people that get deep into it and they're able to build like a community through it and stuff. So that's a project I definitely want to take on this year at some
yeah,
point. But also in the back of my head, I'm like, man, it's gonna be work,
yeah,
and it's just like anything else, you got to be consistent with it. So we'll see. But yeah, it's cool to just even see you guys do it to kind of get the gears turning in my head and be like, okay, so this is how it works.
yeah.
Help me kind of get a feel for what that community is like.
Yeah, bro. We're all cool. We're all fun. Sid is a little toxic on S&D, but he's cool too.
For
But
sure.
nah, but yeah, dude, freaking yeah. See, Sid's that's saying right here, like, hey, he has a PS4 camera, and if you want it, he's got you. And dude,
Oh,
like
dope. Cool.
talking about friends, dude. Sid's always hyping you up, bro. Honestly, like huge shout out to Sid for like introducing us, bro. Because for me, I don't know, like in a way, like it helps us both out. Because for me, I've always wanted to interview someone in MMA, dude, but I just don't know like people, and Sid like connected us, and man, I really enjoyed this conversation. You're a dope dude. I think
Appreciate
like
it.
I did watch like some of your fights. You got potential, bro. Honestly, like I think that
Appreciate it. Thank you.
this whole COVID shit, bro. I bet it like really sucked, huh? Because you like well,
That
that's
was
like,
tough. It's
dude,
been a tough few years, but I'm ready to. I mean, I did a lot of work within those years, and
yeah,
I'm ready to showcase it. So really, very much looking forward to it. But yeah, Vince knows a lot of my background and my story.
yeah.
So he's one of my best and long-lasting friends. We grew up watching fights together in my
Mhm.
living room. I'd always get the pay-per-views and stuff, and so very deeply rooted in the MMA community. So.
What's so do you have like top three fighters, or I don't want to say top three because like what are your favorite fighters, or yeah,
Active currently, like
doesn't matter.
retired. Um, okay, so I'll give you like multiple multiple answers. So when I was growing up, it was Clay Guida,
Yeah.
which is now really cool because I get to train with them.
Dude,
And
that's so cool, bro. Like full circle
yeah,
type shit, you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, and I think my first live event I ever watched was his fight with Diego Sanchez.
Oh
I had
shit.
watched like the UFC Unleashed and things like that years leading up to it. My first live fight that I watched on TV was Guida Sanchez, and that's what hooked me. And I
Yeah.
was like, and he's my favorite fighter. But yeah, him, Chael Sonnen, Brock Lesnar, because I was a WWE fan
Yeah.
growing up as a kid. So those are probably my main three. And then GSP. GSP is like my idol.
Yeah.
Jose Aldo, my featherweight idol, featherweight goat. Now I really enjoy watching. Hmm. Now I like Sandhagen style a lot. Um, I like I like Adesanya. I like uh, I like the Dagestanis for the wrestling.
Dude, the crack.
Magachev, Khabib, yeah. Oh, and then my probably my like favorite fighter right now is Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
So really love his story, connect with his story, and I think he's a dude too that a lot of people wrote off earlier on in his career,
Hmm.
and that guy just kept grinding, man. Again, consistency is king, and he rose to the top, and he looks unstoppable now. It's really cool. So yeah, I like him. I think he's very versatile, dynamic striker, sick grappling, obviously, long, lanky. So I can
Yeah.
kind of take some aspects of his game and bring them into my own. So yeah, that's I think mainly those are my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's tight, dude. That's dope.
Yeah.
And like, real quick, like how does it feel to be training with like one of the first persons you watched? For me, like I was like, oh
Oh
shit,
man.
like dude, that Clay Guida's dope, bro. Like the slapping shit. I'm just like, I don't know. I grew up watching him too. I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
me and my cousin, we would watch like UFC, like that one. I forgot what it's called. Like like where they do the reruns. We would literally like watch the reruns and be like, oh fuck, come through, this Clay Guida fight's on. We go, and I don't know, it's just always like dope to see that fool. He's got his curly hair and stuff. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, how's it been, dude? Like training with someone that you grew up watching.
Oh, amazing. And it's just like just a world of knowledge. The guy's been in the game for so long. He's got all these little tricks and stuff. And uh, it's been awesome. His last like two or three fights, I've been partnering up with him a lot. Even for this
Yeah.
one, I was partnering with him like 3, 4 times out of the week,
Hmm.
giving him that southpaw look. And he gives me such good grappling. And I mean, I'll tell you what, that he's 40.
Hmm.
That guy, I think he's the hardest worker in the room.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That guy's every time I go to the gym, he's there. Every single time. Like
Hmm.
that guy is a workhorse and definitely a role model in many ways. I mean, to be competing at the highest level for this long, that there's something to be said for that. He's an absolute legend. So yeah, training with him, man, I still get a little starstruck, a little shy. But he's really took me under his wing like a little brother, and
Hmm.
it's really been awesome to just get work with him and pick his brain, and especially with I mean, we have a lot of veterans like that in the
Yeah.
room, that you rub shoulders with and learn a lot from. It gets you really well prepared for your own career. So
That's dope, dude. And super happy for you, man. I can't imagine how it'd feel like to train with someone like I looked up to or grew up watching and shit. I'd be like, fuck. I would probably be like, damn, bro, don't fucking knock me out. But yeah,
Yeah, man, he's an animal.
that's dope, dude. And Dead Nation's asking how old you were when you got your first type of experience in MMA. I know, like you were saying, you used to fight when you were younger, like street fights. But like, yeah, what was your first experience with MMA?
MMA was 14 because I did wrestling freshman year of high school. It's 14. Yeah, I was 14.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then that summer, because I started that summer, I got hooked immediately after my first day. I started going twice a day right off the bat. See, now when you're young, you
Yeah.
can get away with that, right? And also you're not training to a world champion workload or anything like that. But back then, man, I got hooked. I spent my whole summer doing it 2 times a day. Every day I take the public bus down to the gym. And that was my life, man. I loved it, fell in love with it. You know, knew it was what I wanted to do with my life. So,
Hell yeah, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. There you go, buddy. Actually, I have another question. So, Dead Nation is actually trying to get into MMA himself.
Mhm.
Do you have any recommendations for him?
Um, I would say getting into MMA, pick something that really like try them all out, dabble in them like a certain style, and then see what really like speaks to your soul and what you like. And then from there, I would just focus on the consistency of it, and also your attitude towards training, going there. Like make sure mentally you don't make it a chore. Like be excited. It's a
Yeah,
privilege to step onto those mats and learn such a amazing art, and an art that's been around for thousands of years. I would say just fall in love with it in that way. Really study it, learn it, love it. Um, you know, have fun, have fun.
hey, there you go, buddy. That's my brother. Yeah, he wants to get into MMA and stuff, so it's dope. I'm more of a boxer. I like boxing, but like I have like my own little story that I went through, how I got into like fighting and shit. But that's yeah, he's more gravitated towards MMA, which I love. Like I think it's good. Like even if you're not gonna compete, just to know how to defend yourself and stuff.
Oh,
Hmm.
100%. And it's not just being able to learn how to defend yourself, it's also what it does for you mentally,
Yeah,
your confidence, your self-discipline, your perception of a self and of life. I mean, like I think martial arts should be taught in schools. I know they do that over in Japan and things like that, but I think as a society that it would really help us improve. I think I'd just
yeah,
do wonders for us to just bring that element of martial arts into the school systems. I think it'd be great, but I think we're a long ways off from that. But it's cool to see now that more and more by the decade that MMA is being embraced fully.
yeah. That's dope. Honestly, I agree with you, man. Honestly, I feel like if people learn like martial arts and stuff, they would learn discipline. They would learn a lot about themselves, and just kind of have respect. Because I don't know, in general, like a lot of people be just saying shit on the internet, and then they're like, bro, like you never got, like, you could clearly tell on the internet who's never gotten punched in the face. For me, I never talk shit on the internet. I'm like, I never talk shit because I'm like, I don't know, I never talk shit on fighter. Like, all right, I hate commentators sometimes. So I'm like, bro, they be saying, oh, that fool looks lazy, that fool looks this. I'm like, bro, well, you get in the ring and do it. It's like, you know
Yeah, it's MMA fans are frustrating in that way.
yeah,
A lot of them, they don't understand what's going on in there. They don't see the finer details. They can't appreciate what's going on. But um, you know, it, as a fighter, you have to have thick skin. You have to understand
yeah,
that's what you're signing up for, and you're going to get a lot of people like that in any sport. Honestly, there's fans like that. Um, but ultimately, you just have to chalk it up to like, for them to even be putting that out into the world. That's something that they're dealing with personally. Them,
yeah.
that they've got to sort out. So, just taking what things people say with a grain of salt, and just focusing on you and bettering yourself. That's mainly I think all you can do. You know, um, just focus on what you can control internally, and what happens externally is, up to you and how you perceive it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so John's gonna have to head out soon, y'all, because he's going to Six Flags right now to go face his fears, fear heights. But
That's right.
if you guys got any questions, please feel free to ask him in the chat before he heads out. And don't forget that he's gonna be fighting May 1st on A1 Combat, so make sure to check that out. I'll definitely probably have a watch party for that in Discord. Don't tell no one though, I won't get in trouble.
For sure. Yeah, it's gonna be on UFC Fight Pass. I'm
UFC
pretty
Fight
sure if you
Pass.
don't have that, you can get a 1 week free trial, or at least you used to be able to. I don't know about now, but yeah, man, really, really looking forward to it.
I actually didn't ask, and while people make sure to ask questions if you guys have them. Okay. How do you know anything about your opponent or like so far?
Yeah, he actually fought one of my teammates in his last fight, so I got a pretty good idea of what he likes to do, his style, where he trains out of, and things like that. But ultimately, I'm just focused on myself and what I'm going to do in there, and I think that's the best way to go about it from experience.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he could do what he could do, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Yeah. No.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to overthink it. You just want to go in there and fight.
Yeah.
That's what you do every day. So.
Since asking about your experience training with his boxing coach, RC.
Oh man, what? So much knowledge, that guy, and I mean, I liked his style of coaching. He was a bit of a hard ass,
Yeah.
and he'd bark at you, and I respond to that. But man, training with him was awesome, and he'd been around the game, I mean, literally decades, and he was someone that even before UFC and all that really seemed to submerge himself in multiple arts. And so he had a good understanding of how to integrate each of them. So it was a really cool, unique experience to be able to get some work in with him while I was in Vegas for a while there. And I mean, and to get a set of eyes on you that has been in the game for so long, that can just, fine tune little pieces of your game, inches or miles in the sport. So to have something like that or someone like that in your career, it's huge. So big respect to RC. Hope he's doing well.
So yeah, does anyone have any more questions before we let John go? And dude, John, honestly, bro, thank you so much, man. This was such a dope interview. You're such a humble guy, bro. Honestly, we're definitely gonna be supporting you and watching you. I think you're gonna fucking kill it, man. Honestly,
Thanks, man.
I love your calm, collected nature. I think you're gonna, I don't know, you're gonna fuck shit up in there, bro. We're definitely gonna be watching.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the opportunity for being on here with you.
Nah, dude, thank you for the opportunity, man. I think people don't realize how much time you really don't have when you're training. It's like you could be getting sleep, you could be at Six Flags right now. But thank you for the opportunity, bro. It was dope. I love to have you on again later on in your career, if you want to talk more. And you guys, everyone.
Sounds good.
John is gonna, once again, there's John's socials. He's gonna be fighting on the 1st of May on A1 Combat. It'll be live on the UFC Fight Pass, so please make sure to check it out. We'll definitely have a watch party for that. Tell me, Dead Nation said to hit him up if he needs some pre-mades for Apex. And
awesome.
Lastly, do you got any last words you want to say? Like anything, some inspirational
No,
shit?
that's it. Just, stay true to yourself, follow your dreams, stay consistent, and enjoy life, enjoy your youth. You only get to be young once, so do what you love.
Hell yeah, I love that, bro. Hey, yo, dude, have an amazing time at Six Flags, brother. Oh, we'll definitely catch you next week. See ya.
Awesome, man. Take care.
Thank you.